Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that can change your entire life if you take it seriously. Focus on you until you win. See, the biggest problem we have today is that everybody wants to keep their eyes on somebody else's life. You're scrolling through social media, looking at other people's success, comparing your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20. That's where you're losing your power. The moment you start paying attention to what everyone else is doing, you take your energy away from what you should be doing. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something powerful today. When you make the decision to focus on yourself until you win, everything in your life begins to change. Too many people waste their time worrying about what others are doing, comparing themselves to someone else's journey, or waiting for validation that may never come. But success doesn't work that way. You can't reach your highest potential while watching someone else's path. You've got to turn that attention inward and start building the version of yourself that wins. You've got to get selfish with your focus, not in a negative way, but in a disciplined, self-respecting way that says, I'm not stopping until I become everything I was meant to be. Every single one of us has a vision, a dream, or a goal planted deep within. The problem is most people lose focus because they're too distracted by noise, the opinions, the failures, the disappointments. But here's what I've learned. The moment you stop chasing people, the moment you stop explaining yourself, the moment you stop letting outside energy control you, that's when you start winning. See, focus is not about ignoring the world. It's about choosing yourself over and over again, even when it's hard. You've got to wake up every morning and remind yourself why you started. You've got to remember what it felt like when no one believed in you, when doors were closing, and when you were tired but kept going anyway. That's focus. That's the energy that separates dreamers from the achievers. When you truly focus on yourself, you stop needing approval. You start understanding that your path might not look like anybody else's, and that's okay. You learn to stop measuring success by likes, comments, or applause, and start measuring it by your progress, your peace, and your persistence. You start realizing that not everyone will understand your grind, your discipline, or your sacrifices, but you don't owe them an explanation. Winners don't explain, they execute. The truth is, no one's coming to save you. No one's coming to push you out of bed. No one's going to do the work for you. That's your job. You have to decide that no matter how long it takes, no matter how many times you fall, you will not quit until you win. People might say you've changed, and you should. Growth requires change. You can't expect to win staying the same. You've got to let go of old habits, old mindsets, and sometimes even old relationships that no longer align with your direction. That's not being cold, that's being committed. When you focus on yourself, you become aware of what drains you and what drives you. You start protecting your time, your energy, and your peace because you realize that those things are the foundation of your success. The more you focus, the clearer your purpose becomes, and the more unstoppable you feel. Now let me be real with you. Focusing on yourself isn't easy. There will be moments when it feels lonely. There will be times when you question whether it's worth it. But that's the test. The struggle, the proof that you're on the right path. Because if it were easy, everybody would be winning. But the truth is, only those who stay focused when it's hard ever make it to the finish line. So when life gets tough, don't break your focus. Tighten it. Remind yourself that your current situation is not your final destination. Every setback is setting you up for a comeback. Keep your eyes on your goal and your faith in your grind. Ladies and gentlemen, when you focus on you until you win, you change the game. You start realizing that your only real competition is the person you were yesterday. You stop running from your pain and start using it as fuel. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating it. You understand that winning isn't about beating others. It's about mastering yourself. So focus on your growth, your mindset, your discipline, and your consistency. Because the moment you do, the world will have no choice but to notice. Focus on you until you win, because you were never meant to lose. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest lessons life will ever teach you is that success is not built on talent alone. It's built on focus, discipline, and consistency. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you can't stay focused long enough to develop it, you'll never see the reward. The truth is, most people don't lose because lack ability. They lose because they lack focus. When you decide to focus on you until you win, you're declaring that no distraction, no setback, no opinion, and no obstacle is going to pull you away from your purpose. You're saying to yourself, I will not stop until I get what I came for. That's the kind of mindset that turns ordinary people into legends. There's something powerful about a person who stays locked in on their goals. The world respects focus. Opportunities are attracted to people who know where they're going. The moment you start taking yourself seriously, life starts taking you seriously. But that requires patience and self-control. You have to learn to say no to the things that look good, but don't move you closer to your goal. You have to discipline your mind to stay centered, even when everything around you is chaotic. People will try to tempt you off your path with distractions, negativity, and doubt. But your job is to remember why you started. You have to keep your eyes on the finish line and refuse to get caught up in things that don't serve your growth. Because every time you lose focus, you lose progress. Every moment wasted is a step away from your dream. When I talk about focusing on you, I'm not talking about arrogance. I'm talking about self-respect. It's about valuing your time and energy so much that you refuse to give them to things that don't help you grow. You have to treat your vision like a sacred thing, something you protect fiercely. You can't let just anyone speak into your life, because not everyone sees what you see. You can't let fear or failure define you, because both are part of the process. Every successful person has been through seasons where nothing seemed to work, where they felt lost or overlooked, but they stayed focused. They kept pushing even when no one was clapping. And eventually, that focus turned into success. Focus builds strength. It sharpens your vision and trains your mind to ignore what doesn't matter. You start to realize that you don't have to chase opportunities. They'll come to you when you're ready. But you only get ready by putting in the work, day in and day out, even when you don't feel like it. There will be days when motivation fades, and all you have left is discipline. That's when focus becomes your greatest weapon. You can't build consistency on emotion. You build it on commitment. Every day remind yourself that what you want is worth the sacrifice. Remind yourself that the pain of discipline is always less than the pain of regret. You see, success is not about speed. It's about direction. You can move fast and still go nowhere if you're not focused. But when you stay locked in, every step counts. Every effort compounds. And one day, everything you've been looking toward will start to make sense. People will look at you and call you lucky, but you'll know it wasn't luck. It was focus. It was faith. It was persistence. Ladies and gentlemen, don't let anyone or anything distract you from your destiny. Protect your vision. Focus on your growth. Focus on your mindset. Focus on your habits. Because when you master those, winning becomes inevitable. You've got to keep pushing until the dream becomes real, until your work speaks for itself, and until the world recognizes the greatness you've been building in silence. Focus on you until you win, because the moment you refuse to be distracted, that's the moment you become unstoppable. Ladies and gentlemen, when you make up your mind to focus on yourself until you win, You begin to separate from the crowd. You stop following trends and start following purpose. You stop chasing attention and start chasing growth. Most people are so busy watching what others are doing that they forget to build themselves. They waste their energy comparing, competing, and complaining when all that energy could have been used to create something great. You've got to understand that every time you compare your journey to someone else's, you rob yourself of focus. The only person you should be competing with is the person you were yesterday. If you want to win, stop trying to be better than others. Start trying to be better than who you used to be. Focus is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about showing up for yourself even when no one is watching. It's about building discipline when motivation fades. You're not going to feel like it every day. You're not going to have support every time you need it. But if you stay consistent, if you keep your eyes on your vision, you'll realize that small steps every day create massive results over time. Success doesn't come to those who want it the most. It comes to those who stay focused the longest. The difference between winners and quitters is simple. Winners don't lose sight of the goal, even when the road gets hard. They don't stop just because it's uncomfortable. They understand that discomfort is part of growth, and growth is the price of success. You've got to learn to silence the noise around you. Everybody's got an opinion about what you should do, who you should be, and how you should live your life. But the truth is, no one knows your dream the way you do. No one can see your vision the way you see it. You have to trust your own journey, even when others don't understand it. Sometimes, focusing on yourself means walking alone for a while. It means saying no to distractions, no to drama, no to negativity. It means spending time improving your skills, strengthening your mindset, and building your character. Because once you master those things, success has no choice but to find you. When you focus on yourself, you also learn the power of patience. The problem today is that everyone wants instant success. They want the reward without the process. But true success takes time. It takes long nights, early mornings, sacrifice, and faith. You can't rush greatness. You've got to trust that every struggle, every setback, and every slow season is preparing you for something bigger. The universe tests your patience before it rewards your persistence. So if it's taken longer than you expected, that's not a sign to quit. It's a sign to focus harder. Because what you're building requires a stronger foundation, and focus is the cement that holds it all together. You've got to protect your peace and your purpose. Don't let people guilt you into losing focus. Don't let your emotions lead you away from your goals. Stay grounded in your vision. Remind yourself daily why you started. Speak positivity into your life. Feed your mind with growth, your body with discipline, and your soul with faith. When you start aligning your actions with your intentions, you begin to attract opportunities that match your energy. You begin to shine from the inside out, not because you're lucky, but because you're focused. Ladies and gentlemen, success doesn't belong to the most talented. It belongs to the most focused. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You just have to keep becoming the best version of yourself. Stay patient, stay disciplined, and stay locked in until your dreams become your reality. Because once you decide to focus on you until you win, nothing and no one can stop what's already meant for you. Ladies and gentlemen, when you make the decision to focus on you until you win, you begin to understand that success is not an event. It's a journey. It's not something that happens overnight. It's something that happens when you consistently choose yourself over distractions, over fear, and over doubt. You see, the world is full of people who start strong, but never finish. They have dreams, they have plans, but they lack focus. And without focus, dreams fade. You've got to be intentional about your growth. You've got to make a promise to yourself that no matter how long it takes, you're not stopping until you see the results of your hard work. That's what winners do. They stay locked in even when the excitement wears off, even when no one is cheering, even when the road gets tough. You've got to understand that your success depends on your ability to control your attention. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. If you keep focusing on problems, you'll create more problems. But if you focus on solutions, you'll create progress. Life will test you. It will throw distractions in your path. People will doubt you, situations will frustrate you, and obstacles will try to break you. But your focus must be stronger than your feelings. You can't let emotions decide your direction. Winners don't let how they feel control what they do. They let their vision guide their actions. Every day, you have to wake up and choose focus, because every day, something will try to steal it from you. You might not always see results immediately, but that doesn't mean nothing is happening. Growth happens in silence. Seeds grow underground long before they break through the surface. That's how your progress works too. The effort you're putting in, the discipline you're building, the consistency you're practicing, they're all working for you, even when it feels like nothing's changing. You just have to stay patient and keep going. Focus is about believing in the unseen. It's about trusting that the process is shaping you into the person capable of handling the success you're working toward. Sometimes, the reason it's taken time is because you're still becoming the version of yourself that can sustain the blessing you're asking for. When you focus on yourself, you'll also begin to notice what drains your energy. You realize that not everyone deserves access to your time and attention. Some people will come into your life to distract you, to test your patience, or to keep you comfortable where you are. But you've got to protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. The wrong company can delay your destiny. You've got to surround yourself with people who remind you of your potential, not your past. People who push you to grow, not those who keep you stuck, because energy is contagious, and your environment plays a huge role in how focused you remain. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean being selfish. It means being self-aware. It means knowing that in order to pour into others, you've got to first fill your own cup. You can't give your best if you're running on empty. So take care of your mind, your body, and your spirit. Learn to rest without quitting. Learn to reset without giving up. When you take care of yourself, your focus sharpens, your vision clears, and your drive multiplies. Success is a reflection of how well you manage yourself. When you're in control of your mind, you're in control of your life. Ladies and gentlemen, every person you admire, every name that inspires you, every story that moved you, they all have one thing in common: focus. They didn't quit when it got hard. They didn't let doubt win. They stayed true to their vision until the world had no choice but to see what they saw. You've got that same power. You just need to focus on it, feed it, and protect it. Keep your eyes on the prize, block out the noise, and remind yourself that your time is coming. Stay locked in, stay focused, and keep pushing until you win. Ladies and gentlemen, when you decide to focus on you until you win, you have to understand that your journey will not be easy. It's not supposed to be. Growth was never meant to be comfortable, and success was never meant to be convenient. You're going to face moments that test your strength, your patience, and your belief in yourself. But that's exactly where your focus will be the most important. See, most people quit, not because they can't make it, but because they lose focus along the way. They let distraction, delays, and disappointments convince them that maybe they're not good enough. But you have to remind yourself every day that you were built for this. You were designed to win, but only if you stay focused long enough to finish what you started. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean you're ignoring the world. It means you're prioritizing your growth. You're giving yourself permission to become the best version of you. Too often, people lose themselves trying to fit into other people's expectations. They chase approval instead of purpose. They try to please everyone and end up empty.